It is the technology show where we translate geek into regular speak. I'm Brett Levy and I'm your host this week. So, in the spirit of Amazon Prime days, now I've realized that those might have already passed in America, but here in Australia it started yesterday and I think it ends tomorrow. I think it's the 16th to the 18th. So, we slap bang in it. I thought that I would do a review of an Amazon product. Haven't done one in a long time. I see my sides of already at the end, so I need to go all the way back to the beginning. Let's try that again. So let's move into the shows. Things with a Z. So because it's Amazon Prime Day, I am going to review the brand new Echo Show 5 third generation. It was quite a mouthful. So the Echo Show, if you're listening to the show and you're not watching it, the main difference with the Echo Show is that it has a screen, unlike the Echo Dot or the Echo Pop. And I think there's some other ones. Those are the two that I own. I've actually owned quite a few different Echo products. I've had the Echo Auto, I've got the Echo Dot, I've got the Echo Pop, I've got a Fire Stick TV that doesn't count, but it is Alexa powered. But this is the first time that I'm actually doing an Amazon product that has a screen. And as I said, this is just recently released. I think it came out last week. So it's the Echo Show 5, third generation. So first off, size, hence its name as well. It's not too big and it's not too small. It has a 5.5-inch touchscreen. And remember, you measure diagonally. So the real estate on the device is pretty similar to a cell phone. So if you picture your phone on the side, that kind of gives you the scale of what the Echo Show 5 looks like. Aesthetically, super easy to look at, packs some really nice sound as well. If you're watching the show, you'll see, otherwise I'll describe it. There's like a curvature that goes behind the device. Now, obviously, inside is the little bits and pieces that run the screen, but it gives extra room for speakers. And I did mention the Echo Dot and the Echo Pop. Now, the Pop has the same curvature behind it, and the Dot looks like an ice hockey puck. Can't get the words out today. More volume that you got, more sound you can get out of it. So the people of Amazon have taken that into consideration as well. Now, one thing you might notice straight away, especially if you're watching the show, is there's a camera staring at you. Now, for all those people that have stuck tape over their laptop cameras, fear not, Amazon has you covered. Literally, there's a dedicated little slide button above that closes off the camera. And when you slide it, the screen will actually confirm that the camera is off. A little pop-up comes up on the screen that says the camera is off and warns you that you won't be able to do video calls or drop-ins or anything like that. There's also a microphone and camera off button. So if you push this, a red line appears along the bottom, and even if you don't slide the camera shutter, both the microphone and the camera off. So there's actually two ways of making sure that your privacy is there if you so choose. There are two additional dedicated buttons along the top. There's a volume up and a volume down. And as I said, the camera and camera mic controls are there as well. So I've put a slide up showing that as well. So you got a plus and minus for volume. The little switch slides over the camera, and then the circle with the line through it is your mute button. So it mutes cameras and it mutes mics. Now, speaking of red notifications, the one thing that I do love about the Echo series is that there's LED visual notifications. Now, this has been from day dot. See what I did there? I didn't plan that one. So even on the Echo Dot, the Pop, even in the Auto in the car, there's always been an LED series of lights. So I order a lot of stuff from Amazon. Hopefully my wife is not listening to this. And generally I do it by voice. So the Echo Show is now on my desk. It's replaced my Echo Pop. And when I sit down and see a yellow light along the bottom, I know there's an action required or an update to be shared from Amazon with me. In fact, there's actually 6 colors all in all. So if you look at the screen I've actually brought up, you can see there's a big red line all the way along the bottom. That is when your microphone and your camera have been turned off. Now, blue means Alexa is listening. Well, got to keep quiet there for a second, otherwise it's going to start repeating. I said the A word. On the show, you can't say the A word, the G word, the S word, because then all the devices start going. So Blue means that A is listening, and red means the mic and the camera's off, which I've explained. Orange, device is in setup mode or trying to connect to the internet. What's cool about that is if you come and sit down, as I said, now that well, even with the pop, I had LEDs. But if I sit down at my desk in the morning and I see an orange line along the screen, then I know that there's something wrong with the internet, because I don't need to set up the device, it's already set. So it's quite a nice little thing to see visually. Purple, this is one I never use. It's do not disturb. So the reason you would use that is to, um, if you were in a meeting or something like that, and can't think of the word now. If you were using, I don't want to say the A word as your primary interface, or you took calls or drop-ins or had music playing, if you select the do not disturb, then obviously you will not be disturbed. Yellow, I've already mentioned that. That's normally a notification, and it usually relates to a shipment. So if I come into my desk, I'm expecting a shipment, I see the yellow light, I say the A word, and I say, read me my notifications, and it says, your shipment from XYZ is coming today, or it's been delivered. I got to actually pause there for a moment and have a moan. Now, I know that Amazon outsources their deliveries. I know it's not their staff. But what is it with doorbells? Like my mate was saying the same thing as well. They come, they drop the stuff off. Maybe if you're lucky, knock on the door. I've got a big freaking doorbell staring at you when you're at my door. Push the button so that I know you're there. Maybe they're scared you're going to like come in, and if there's something wrong, try and make them take it back, or I don't know. But nearly said the word again, but my device, my Echo Show, has this yellow thing that tells me that it's actually being delivered or that it's on its way. So if it's delivered, I run downstairs and I go and get it. Every now and then I've seen a yellow and it's actually asking for feedback as well. So it says, what do you think of your last product? And you just give it a rating. What other colors were there? So shipment. Oh, the last one is green. This is when an incoming call or someone is viewing your camera. So it's like spy mode. So again, if you're worried about people watching you on your via your camera, if you do have an Echo Show or any of the shows, you will see a green line all the way along the bottom. That tells you that the camera is activated. Now, that's quite industry specific. I'm doing the show off my MacBook. There's a green light staring at me advising the camera's on. If you jump onto a Google product, generally there's a green light when the camera's on. So it's something that we're used to. This is no different. See a green line along the bottom, it means your camera's on. What that means is that someone could be using the Alexa app, someone within your family, or obviously people that you share with, and are looking at you. I've used that mode if I want to see something in the house. So if I've gone out and I'm wanting to see something for whatever reason that is, I can angle the Echo Show in a way that I know where the camera is aiming, and I can use the A Word app. I wonder if it happens if I spell it Alexa. Nothing beeped. I can use that app and actually turn the camera on and see. I can also talk. So if it was a person that I was wanting to see if they've come home or not from school or something like that, and I see them, I can actually talk to them. So that's the drop-in or the call that I was talking about. As you would expect, and if you own previous versions or other devices that act as home management systems, the Echo Show, which is powered by Alexa, does all the things that you would expect from a smart home controller. So you can ask for the weather, you can ask it to turn on the lights if you have smart devices connected. Because it's part of the Amazon family, what's really cool is I can actually have my Audible books read to me. I can order stuff. I can reorder stuff from Amazon, and the feature that I like is I can play music, or even watch like the latest episodes of The Boys. I can just say, "Hey, please play the latest episode of." Well, on the screen I've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and it plays. So it's a little screen. Not that you want to sit there and watch big epics on a little screen, but hey, if you're sitting at your desk, maybe you want to have something playing in the background. Why not? The other thing as well is Amazon has a browser called Silk. You will see that on the Fire Stick TV range as well. Now, when I asked for YouTube, it actually opened Silk and went into browser mode. So I said, for example, I want to watch a Mr. Beast video on YouTube. It then opened up Silk. It was in a proper browser way. I had to actually touch the screen on the Mr. Beast link that was there because it listened to what I asked for. And it opened up YouTube non-natively. Now, in the top right corner, it said open app. I did try and tap it, nothing happened. So I don't know if I was supposed to have installed the app first onto the device. I actually haven't tried to install apps or anything onto the device, if I'm honest. I don't really need to. I just talk to it to do what I need it to do, and I'm all good with that. But what is cool is that you actually have a browser and you can go to websites. And I tried it. If you're watching the screen, I've put in my personal website, and it goes there. Now, the other thing, and the reason I put the screenshot up, is the keyboard layout is so clever. So remember, I said at the beginning that being a 5.5-inch screen in the device, it's kind of the size of a cell phone if you turned it on its side. Now, if you pick up your phone and turn on the side, your keyboard goes along the bottom, right? It's horizontal. Amazon has thought of that. They've actually split the keyboard, so you're sitting there holding it, and because it's a bulky device backwards. It's not heavy, but it's bulky. It's got some substance to it. You actually have to use your thumbs to type. So by having the split keyboard, it's very easy to navigate. And I just thought that was such a brilliant UI um, thought that went into this from the LEEXA team. So well done to them for that. Yeah, it's really cool. It makes it so easy to type. Another cool feature across the LEEXA range of devices is drop-in. So I can send a broadcast message downstairs to my soundbar, which is A-word enabled, instead of trying to scream over the TV because someone's listening at a volume I can't do anything else about. But also, what's nice about that is I can also play music upstairs. Someone's downstairs, go, oh, that's pretty cool. Hit the little, there's like a little speaker icon that appears on the screen. Hit that, go play everywhere, and it plays on any Alexa enabled device that's linked to our network. So I like that feature. And even more so, if I'm upstairs and I don't want to pause the music that I'm playing, I can put it onto the speaker downstairs, either leave it playing upstairs as well, or turn it off and transfer the sound downstairs. So that's really, really cool. I don't have a Ring camera, so I didn't get to test this feature, but I have actually seen it work at one of my mates' places. So if you have a Ring doorbell outside and someone rings it, the Echo Show will show you the doorbell screen, and you'll be able to engage with that person via the device. This is no different to what Google does with the Nest series. And that's the reason I don't have a Ring device. I have a Google Nest camera, but I can't see that on my Alexa. I actually must find out if there's a way to do that, because I'm sitting at my desk and I hear it go ding dong and I have to go running for a device or running downstairs. Anyway, moving along. What else have I got? So yeah, all in all, great compact offering. Sits nicely on my desk. Pretty decent sound. I must say, I'm not upset with the sound. I don't sit here and blast it at full volume, but the sound is full. Watching content, being entertained, anything like that. And of course, the quirky prompts on the screen, like, why do witches wear name tags? So then it says to you, try, Alexa, why do witches wear name tags? And it's not talking. So it goes, well, the answer is to tell which witch is which. Sorry, don't judge. Alexa, stop. So I've got to stop talking and using keywords on this show. I thought that might work and come over, but it started very politely saying, good afternoon, Brett. So yeah, that's the Echo Show 5. It joins quite a big Echo family. I know there's a bigger Echo as well. There's an 8, and I think there might even be a 10. I'm not sure. But this is a great size, nice size on the desk. I did put it downstairs in the kitchen for a recipe as well. That's another thing. You get these suggestions from ALEXA all day long. One of them is recipes. So, if you were looking for some inspiration, you could just ask it, or you could wait for it to actually appear. But there is enough real estate on the screen to see everything clearly. The definition is good. The brightness is great. So all in all, very happy with the device. And that will then bring us to the end of tech news. Things with a Z, and onto tech news. So today in tech news, we have so Samsung just did their show a week, 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure, recently. And they announced their new Flip range of phones, which is what we're expecting. So I think we're on Flip 6 now. So the Flip and the Fold Those are now in pre-order, and you can get those if you want. They do look really good, but look same, right? It does what it does. On that note, I have to give a shout out to Motorola. Their new flip phone is quite something with a full screen on the outside. They don't do a fold, but anyway. But part of the announcement was they also had some buds that look very Apple AirPod-esque, but they did announce their first smart ring. Now, of smart rings. I don't wear one. I I haven't played with one. I wear other devices that give me some of my health metrics. So it might be overkill. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's going to do something that my watch or any of the other devices that I use that like sleep aids and that won't do. But be that as it may, there is a place for a smart ring. It's their first shot at it. Like Apple, they've pulled the same punches that their peripherals will not work on iPhones. So if you are an iPhone user, don't spend money on a smart ring. It will not connect with your phone. Speaking of Apple, they have now released the public beta of iOS 18. Now, I always say this, if you're going to play with a beta version, please do so on a second device. This is just in case something goes wrong. I'm not suggesting it will, but there have been issues in the past when something's gone wrong. It's bugged to the point that the device can even brick out. In other words, you can't use it anymore. It's kind of like finished. It has to go into Apple to see if they can fix it. Yes, there's some cool new features. Yes, it's fun to play with. It's nice to be first. Do a show like this, you want to maybe talk about some of the cool features. I have a toy that I can play with and put betas on. But if you listen to my show regularly, you'll know that even when iOS 18 comes out, I don't upgrade my phone until I see 0.1. So playing with the beta is fun. I would never, ever put the beta or even early release on your primary device. So just, yeah, bear that in mind. Staying with Amazon, I mean, I called the show Optimum Prime. I kind of like that. I thought that was pretty groovy. So Amazon Prime Days, I mentioned one of the reasons that I reviewed the Echo Show was to type with us. I have to say there are some super deals available. Importantly, and this is what the show's about, right? We had to share education. If you have the ShopBack app, or if you don't have the ShopBack app, get the ShopBack app. I'll actually put a link up in the post afterwards that I think it gives you like $5 free if you click on that one. Yes, I get $5 too as well, so thank you. But regardless, the ShopBack app is awesome and it works across millions of different places where you get cash back. Normally on Amazon, it's 7%. I mean, that's great, right? So any Amazon product you buy using ShopBack, you get up to 7% back. On the Prime Days, they've bumped that to 15%. So I waited for Prime Days to do my reordering. Nothing exciting, really. I think my wife's listening. So cat food and cat food. Oh, and I ordered a battery as well. I needed a battery for one of my other toys and some toys. So yeah, so Amazon Prime, check it out. Really good stuff going on at the moment. They are limited deals. So if you see something like, or there's been a post online that, Samsung's selling something or Amazon, well, Amazon devices will never run out. I mean, even if they're out of stock, they would probably still do a back order for you. On that note, the Amazon Pop, which is the little speaker I used to use, I think is only selling for like $29. This is Australia. That is super cheap. I think it's a $59 or $79 speaker, and it is really good. And the way it sits with its angle, with its speaker facing you, it's awesome sound. So if you're not going to go up to an Echo Show, which is maybe like $100 more, hey, that's a great deal as well. Or maybe get a couple of those anyway. Then the last article or news piece that I have to share today, it's quite interesting, and I did not know this until I read this. So I thought, hey, let me share. Smartphone manufacturers are actually struggling in the Indian market. Now, when you think about it, the Indian market is the second biggest market in the world on a population point of view. They do, however, have a really big poverty issue as well. Now, around 350 million people in India still use a feature phone. Now, a lot of the younger people today probably don't even know what a feature phone is. It's the phone that doesn't do everything that your phone does, and it has buttons on it, and it normally just a monochrome screen, or if it's color, it's like 8-bit. Now, it's purely due to affordability, right? This is the only reason. Now, what is interesting is that the feature phone market is still 75%. And of that percentage, they're using 2G phones. Now, I brought this up to share. As I said, to me, it's an interesting article. But Australia is talking about switching off our 3G network. So we'll only have 4 and 5G. And I believe you'll pay more for 5G. So it'll be a tiered plan scenario. Um, I personally don't mind because anytime I fall off the 4G network for any reason, and obviously there's no 5G, 3G is a pain in the ass. I mean, you can't do anything with it. It's super slow. The data doesn't work properly. So if they're turning 3G off, then the default's going to be 4G. That means I'm never going to have that issue. So hey, bring it. But now you're talking 2G. So 75% of 350 million people, come let's test my maths. What's that? I don't know. 200 and something million people are on 2G. Like they don't have all the cool stuff we do. Anyway, so that takes us to the end of tech news. And Are You Game? Okay, so Are You Game? I'm still not playing any games. Same as last week or last show, whenever it was. The Esports World Cup is still on in Saudi Arabia. I think we're halfway now. Been some amazing games to watch. Unfortunately, the time zones just don't really work in our favor. I think we're 6 or 7 hours ahead over here. So I have to watch it. Like I watch the streams after the fact, which is also not a bad thing, but it's not exciting. I have to avoid all the posts that I subscribe to make sure that I don't hear the results, especially if it's a team I want to follow. What I can say though is where it's really getting exciting is I think they announced on Friday or Monday that the Olympics next year in Saudi Arabia will include esports. So that's a huge win for the esports industry, and makes big strides for us as an industry, getting people to realize that esports are real sports. So yeah, well done to Saudi Arabia. So far, it looks like it's been a great tournament. Obviously, there will be the post-mortem. But for now, I'm not actually playing games. I'm using whatever little bit of free time I have to watch some of the amazing content that's out there. Q&A. Okay, so Q&A, I actually have an interesting one this week, and it's actually a question I asked myself probably about 3 months ago. So now I know how to I now know how to answer it. I thought, well, let's share it when I go ask the question again. So the question was, how do you take a scrolling screenshot on a phone? Now, what that means is basically when you take a screenshot, it takes a shot of the screen. But if you're on a website or you have this long document and you want to capture more of it, that would be a scroll. You'd think about the natural action is to scroll, but you can't do that in a screenshot. Well, you can. So you didn't ask me which device, and given that my listeners use both devices, as do myself, I thought it'd be nice and just give you the answer to both. So I'll start with Android. I use a Pixel, so I can only give you the reference on a Pixel, but I'm pretty sure it'll be the same on most Android phones. So on a Pixel, to take a screenshot, you push the power button and the volume down button. So the volume button's like a rocker. So you hold the down and the power button. That takes a still screenshot, right? And I'm sure it's the same on other Androids. And if it's not, it'll be power and volume up. The thumbnail then appears in the bottom corner of your screen, and you tap that, and a little word comes up that says capture more, like a little button. What it does is it then opens the view, so the whole page is showing on your screen. Kind of like looks like a long, very like a panorama picture, but vertical. And there's a selection tool. So you just drag the tool to the point that you want. You might want the whole thing. So you drag it to the top and drag it to the bottom, and then you press save, and it will now turn your screenshot into that full or scrolled screenshot, right? So that's Android. I would take a guess that on some of the other devices that maybe don't have the same GUI or UI that like a Samsung or a Pixel have, you might find there's just two little arrows. So when you do the same thing, you hit the thumbnail, you might see two little arrows like signifying up and down. If you click that, it'll probably bring up your drag tool as well. But it will be in the screenshot that you take, the normal way you take the screenshot. Now remember, this only applies if there actually is content to scroll. So yeah, you want to be you want to be on a website or a document that's got more than one page. Okay. Then on an iPhone, it's power and volume up. So volume down on Android, volume up on iPhone. This also takes a standard screenshot, also shows you the thumbnail. Tap on the thumbnail, and at the top, you'll see a menu item that says screen or full page. you select the full page, and the entire document or web page, whatever, will be selected by default. So you don't actually have to scroll. So let's say you had a 3-page document, you wanted a screenshot of the whole thing. On the iPhone, it will actually then by default take the whole thing. If you were only looking for page 1.5, then you would select the crop icon. So it's like a little cross. The crop, it looks like a crop. Well, if you use an iPhone, you know what the crop icon looks like. You select that, and the bars will appear. Then you can drag it up to where you want it, or drag it down from the top to where you want it. Push done. So not save, done. And that's it. So that will then bring you up to turn your screenshot into the scrolling screenshot. So that answers pretty much everything, I think, on the Q&A. Again, thanks for joining us. And I suppose until next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.